welcome back to my part 3 of 5.1 for honors precalculus. Okay, so far you guys have learned about the Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to try to use that to simplify this problem. Okay, so this is off your home textbook problem, and we'll do some homework questions later. All right, so I got one fraction here, Sine on cosine, that's a tangent, okay? But they broke it down as a fraction so you can simplify it together. So you gotta be quick. If you see 1 minus sine like this, there is its partner somewhere, so in your head, right? So you got 1 over 1 minus sine. I'm writing with the mouse right here because my pen just ran out of batteries. And then you have a 1 plus sine somewhere. It's got to be somewhere in your head. I know my mouse is kind of glitchy. So that's 1 minus sine, 1 plus sine, all right? So what you got now is, if you multiply this here by 1 plus sine in the bottom, on both bottom and the top, so I'm going to multiply 1 plus sine. Why am I doing that? I'm trying to get this back to Pythagorean theorem. So I got 1 plus sine down here. So I'm going to multiply 1 plus sine up here. Okay. So this bottom here, when you multiply them up, because they are a product of binomials, so you multiply 1 times 1, you get a 1. Your middle terms cancel. Now you get 1 minus sine squared. All right. Remember when I was talking about how you can write your Pythagorean theorem, your cosine squared plus sine squared into many forms? So let's see. Where were we? Somewhere back here. Pretty far back. All right. There we go. So if I write like this, if I subtract the sine this way, so now your cosine squared would equal to 1 minus sine squared, okay? So now what you see in the bottom of that fraction after you multiply it, you are seeing 1 minus sine squared. So now the top, just leave it like this for now. You don't have to distribute unless you are eventually going to multiply them all out, okay? So now let's see, I got 1 plus sine. It's just the way I do my simplifying sometimes. I don't need to multiply it. I want to see what I need to get done. So minus your sine x over cosine x. Now I wish my pen is working. So now this right here, 1 minus sine squared is the same as a cosine squared right here. So when I write them in the next line, I'm going to write them. Now get in the habit of writing it downward. So cosine of x squared. Now they have cosine of x in the bottom on both of your fractions, which is what you want, okay? So you multiply 1 plus sine of x times your 1 minus sine of x. It turns into 1 minus sine square of x because your middle term cancel. So this is the same as cosine square of x. And on the top, I still have that 1 plus cosine of x. I could have multiplied out, but I decided not to. Now you see how that's going to play out. Watch this. This is fun. To me, anyways. Okay, see this cosine square and cosine? Well, you can simplify it anytime right here, right? Because it's one on top of the other. So you can simplify your cosine of x here and one of the cosine here because it's got squared. So now you're going to turn out this fraction will now have 1 plus sine over a cosine. Just cosine because your cosine square cancel with the one of the cosine up on top. So let's see. I'm going to try to write downward, but so now you got 1 plus sine over cosine of x. Okay. My writing is really bad. I might want to do a do-over on this video, but you know what? I really don't care. Okay. Yes, I do, but too lazy. Okay. So now you have your common denominator, right? So you can simplify you can write them in one common denominator. That will allow you to simplify the top, the numerator. So you just put one cosine of x, no square. It's just one common denominator. So now you got your first part right here, minus your second part. Just draw it in one line or one fraction. Then obviously you can subtract these two parts on the top here. So sine of x minus sine of x is 0. So that whole thing turns out to be 1 over cosine of x. Okay. Now if you remember 1 over cosine of x, that is secant of x. So look at how nice this question is. It went from here, right? We simplified it, and this is the answer. This is the simplified version of that expression using just a simple Pythagorean theorem. The key to it was when I saw 1 minus sine of x, I thought about 1 plus sine of x, because when you multiply it, it gives you this form. This form is another form of Pythagorean theorem because this is just equals a cosine square, right? The key to do a problem like this is to recognize something right away. Just don't stall, just keep doing it. Start somewhere, keep going. You might have to do it a couple of times. You have to redo it sometimes, but just don't give up. You can do it, all right? I'm out. This is my third video for you guys already, so adios.